Saint Joseph is met with hostility. After Saint Joseph had fulfilled his duty of presenting Jesus and the Blessed Virgin receiving her purification in the eyes of the law, the Holy Family turned their thoughts towards settling down and making a home for themselves. It was Joseph's hope that they would reside in Nazareth and live a peaceful life. However, upon arriving, Joseph was met with abuses from the townspeople, who labeled him a brute for taking the Virgin Mary on the rough journey to Bethlehem, knowing how close she was to giving birth. Their return to Nazareth was not as peaceful as Joseph had hoped, as he was vilified by the townspeople, some of whom were influenced by the devil. Saint Joseph was no stranger to the devil, nor to the insults of man, as he had experienced this to some extent in his childhood, as recorded earlier in this book. Just as he endured these abuses as a child, with holy patience, so did he in his adulthood, though with great suffering. Mother Cecilia Beige reveals. They began to abuse him and declared him a brute for having taken his spouse to Bethlehem at a time when her delivery was imminent. Some had been stirred up by the devil to attack Joseph further by proclaiming that it was a folly to have given the maiden Mary as a spouse to a man like him, that he had no concern for her, and allowed her to suffer. They declared that he would be to blame if she suffered a premature death from the sufferings he caused her. These abuses were as so many swords piercing the heart of the loving Joseph, for he knew how much he loved his spouse, and how grateful he had been to God for having given her to him. Though saddened and wounded by these abuses, Saint Joseph continued to excel in his virtues of patience, humility, and love for all. He was always pleasing in the sight of God, his pure spouse Mary, and the divine infant Jesus. Mother Cecilia Beige reveals the beautiful words of adoration that Joseph spoke amid his trials, and the ecstasy he experienced as a reward for his love. O my God, how is it possible that you, who are infinite goodness, perfection, and unfathomable beauty, are not loved by all men? With these words, Joseph went into an ecstasy for several hours, delighting in the grandeur of God. He became as on fire with most holy love for God. After the ecstasy, Mary placed the divine infant in Joseph's arms. Joseph pressed him to his bosom, and thereby provided full satisfaction to his love-hungry heart. His soul was refreshed by this embrace with his beloved God.